EricRKandel, In Search of Memory, The Emergence of a New Science of Mind. Delve into the fascinating world of In Search of Memory, The Emergence of a New Science of Mind by EricRKandel as we explore the mysteries of memory, nostalgia, and self-discovery in a captivating literary symphony. In this summary, we will unlock the essential themes of involuntary memory, human relationships, homosexuality, and artistic philosophy that run through the intricacies of Proust's story. We will also travel through Belle Époque France and witness the decline of the aristocracy during their final dance. Get ready to encounter unforgettable characters, compelling real-life parallels, and an immersive narrative, as the novel serves as a poignant swan song to the end of a bygone era.
Proust's childhood memories and Swann's love life. Marcel Proust's experiences of childhood in Cambrai and his affection for Gilbert Swann are intimately linked to his inventive notions of memory, love, and want. A Madeleine cake, dipped in tea, triggers a cascade of sensations, both overpowering and delicate, that Proust reimagines into a unified theory of remembrance. While the story's driving force is the unrequited love of Swann for Odette, Proust's elliptical narrative explores Cambrai's gardens, Sunday rituals, and childhood memories in intricate detail, raising the story beyond a mere love story. The remembrance of things past is an essential meditation on the meaning of time, experience, and admiration, and an occasion to recollect the lost moments of our own history. A journey through love and social class. A young Marcel travels to Balbec and attains access to an elusive aristocratic class, falling in love with Albertine, a dark-haired girl who ultimately rejects him. Marcel's journey through love and social class takes him from his childish love for Gilbert, his father's close friend's daughter, to the seaside town of Balbec. In Balbec, he befriends two young aristocrats, Robert de Saint-Loup and Baron de Charlis, and gains access to their social class. He is struck by the haughty and cold demeanor of the bourgeois daughters of wealthy businessmen. Amidst them all, Marcel falls in love with the dark-haired Albertine. Marcel's attempt to kiss her in her hotel room leads to her harsh rejection and his heartbreak. By this point, Marcel has learned that love is not just a simplistic feeling but an intricate web of social and historical factors. He finally uncovers the harsh reality of his unattainable love, leaving him disheartened but wiser about the complexities of love and social class. Marcel's romantic and social failures. Marcel's infatuation with the Duchesse de Guermantes drives him to seek her out relentlessly, but his efforts yield no fruit. In the course of seeking her attention, Marcel attends a reception at Madame de Villeparis's salon, where his Jewish friend Bloch sparks a discussion on the anti-Semitic attention that Jewish officer Alfred Dreyfus faces. Marcel's grandmother suffers a stroke and dies after a prolonged illness while Albertine comes around for a visit after undergoing some transformation. Ironically, Marcel loses interest in Albertine, who now looks more feminine, and is subsequently invited by the Duchesse de Guermantes, whom he no longer fancies. Marcel finds the highborn's conversation superficial and pretentious, with the Duchess's wit being the only saving grace that comes at others' expense. Marcel's revelation. Marcel, the narrator, observes homosexual interactions between his acquaintance Baron de Charlis and Taylor Jupian. His realization of Charlis's true nature sheds light on the past behavior of the Baron and his lingering insecurity about their acquaintance. Marcel also compares the fate of homosexuals to that of Jews, feeling the weight of society's oppressive attitudes. Later, Marcel attends a reception where he encounters anti-Semitism and a general sense of dissatisfaction with societal norms. In an effort to distract himself from his feelings of nostalgia, he becomes infatuated with Albertine and suspects her of being a lesbian. His attempts to liberate her ultimately fail, and he grows tired of her altogether. Marcel's insecure love. Marcel's possessiveness and jealousy strain his relationship with Albertine to the point of no return in Marcel Proust's In Search of Lost Time. Marcel, the protagonist, struggles with his writing while living with his lover Albertine. However, he becomes possessive and controlling, causing tension between them. Marcel becomes irrationally jealous of Albertine, and to control her behavior, he forces her to be accompanied by André at all times. Albertine lies to Marcel to maintain her freedom, but their relationship becomes strained as a result. Marcel even forbids Albertine from attending a musical evening to which she was invited. Marcel's emotions reach a boiling point when he hears from Baron Charles that Albertine has been seeing another woman. Though Albertine denies the accusation, an increasingly frustrated Marcel threatens to end their relationship. Despite this, Marcel and Albertine eventually reconcile only for Marcel to ultimately break things off. When Marcel comes to this decision, he discovers that Albertine has already left him. In Search of Lost Time, by Marcel, Proust portrays the dangers of possessiveness in a relationship, ultimately leading to heartbreak and separation. Marcel's tragic love story. Upon the sudden and mysterious flight of his lover Albertine, Marcel attempts various ways to bring her back but in vain. Sadly, he receives a telegram informing him of Albertine's death. His grief soon turns into jealousy as he begins to investigate her past and uncovers unfounded rumors of her sexual exploits. Just as he starts to forget her, Marcel learns that Albertine had a lesbian relationship with André, who explains that Albertine left Marcel because he wouldn't marry her. In an attempt to move on from his heartbreak, Marcel visits Venice and experiences a new perspective of life, where he realizes that his youthful beliefs and romance were misguided. He returns to Paris, and surprisingly, his childhood acquaintance, Gilberte, confesses her love for him. During this tragic love story, Marcel learns that his beliefs and convictions are not always steadfast. A writer's epiphany. After spending years in a sanatorium, Marcel returns to a war-torn Paris. Through a chance encounter, he witnesses the Baron de Charles, his former lover, being tortured in a brothel. Marcel survives an air raid and learns of Saint Lou's death. Later, he experiences an epiphany at a party, realizing that he must use his sensory memories to decipher the truth and give his memories a place in time through his writing. Despite his approaching death, Marcel resolves to begin writing his novel. The literary symphony of Proust's In Search of Lost Time. Marcel Proust's 7-volume In Search of Lost Time is a masterpiece that explores the themes of memory, sensory cues, and life stories. The first volume introduces the narrator's childhood memories triggered by a sensory cue, leading to recurring motifs. Proust uses vivid descriptions of landscapes and portraits of characters to create word paintings that resemble works of Impressionistic and Cubist artists. The final volume concludes with the character's last dance in an old people's ball. The asthmatic Proust's writing style is reflected in his excessive, nested and breathless phrases, which earned him a place among France's longest sentence writers in literature. In Search of Lost Time is a literary symphony that explores essential human experiences and emotions in a unique and engaging way, cementing Proust's position as one of the greatest writers of the 20th century. Art, Memory, and Identity. In this masterful work, Marcel Proust explores the intricacies of memory and identity through art, love, sexuality, and social class. He underscores the power of involuntary memories sparked by unexpected sensations while highlighting how deliberate memory often falls short. Proust juxtaposes autobiography and fiction, presenting a blend of real-life characters and events with fictitious ones. Central to the narrative is the idea that objective thought is unattainable, shattering notions of certainty in human relationships. Proust's own closeted homosexuality informed his portrayal of characters and themes, as did his Jewish heritage. With nostalgia and irony, he celebrates and grapples with the end of the Belle Époque, targeting the narrow-mindedness of the upper middle classes and the downfall of the aristocracy before World War I. Ultimately, Proust frames his aesthetic philosophy emphasizing the importance of uncovering the similarities underneath the surface of things and expressing them through metaphor and beautiful style. The Fin de Siècle in France. The book, In Search of Lost Time, is set in the Belle Époque era in France, a period of relative peace and prosperity from the end of the Franco-Prussian War in 1871 to the outbreak of World War I in 1914. During this time, the upper middle classes benefited from the technological revolution, marked by advancements like automobiles, airplanes, and telephones. The wealthy social classes celebrated themselves, beauty, and life in Parisian salons. The notion of the Fin de Siècle gained momentum in 1890. The Fin de Siècle was a cycle of excessive euphoria about the future and doomsday desperation, inspired by rapid changes in science, society, and eroding value systems. Artists rebelled against the conventions of their time with a frivolous lifestyle, drug abuse, and an open embrace of sexuality. The Fin de Siècle dandy cultivated his style and personality as a way of life, and Marcel Proust was both a great chronicler of this epoch and trailblazer of modern literature. Proust's endless writing process. Proust's In Search of Lost Time is a novel that took him over a decade to finish. He initially planned for 2 volumes, but the novel grew too big. His personal life also played a role in shaping the story. His manuscript underwent numerous changes, and he continued writing until his death in 1922. Despite its inconsistencies, the novel is a testimony to his manic creative method. In Search of Lost Time is a novel that took Proust over a decade to complete. He experienced the Proustian moment in 1909, which inspired him to write. However, his initial optimism about finishing the book was unfounded. Even though a first draft of the final scene existed in 1909, Proust continued to work on the novel for years. Originally planned in 2 volumes, the first volume was published in 1913 and was already sprawling in nature. The second was typeset but put on hold due to World War I, which broke out in 1914. Proust's personal life also changed the course of the novel. When his secretary, who was a model for Albertine, died in a plane crash, he created a new narrative, centering around Albertine's imprisonment, escape, and death. He continued to make changes to his manuscript, sometimes cutting passages in one place and pasting them in another. Even the clean copy was far from final. Inconsistencies, repetitions, ruptures, and incomplete sentences are all evidence of Proust's manic creative process. Proust's literary impact. Proust's In Search of Lost Time initially received mixed reviews due to its socially taboo topics. However, the novel eventually gained recognition as one of the most important literary works of the 20th century. Its fame even spawned a humorous competition called the All England Summarize Proust Competition, where participants must summarize the 7 volumes in 15 seconds. The novel's ongoing popularity is evident in various adaptations, including a self-help book, graphic novel, and several film and TV adaptations. Overall, Proust's work has had a lasting impact on literature and popular culture.
As we reach the end of our journey through In Search of Memory, the emergence of a new science of mind, we have explored the dynamics of memory, love, art, and society in this seminal literary masterpiece. In the vivid landscapes portrayed by Proust, we discovered the rich tapestry of life during the Belle Époque era and gained insights into the complexities of human emotion and relationships. We also observed the struggles of the characters with homosexuality and Jewishness, allowing us to reflect on the enduring realities of identity, society, and change. Through the engaging interplay of autobiography and fiction, Proust's novel emerges as an enduring testament to artistic expression and the creative spirit, inspiring readers across generations to re-examine their own memories, relationships, and life experiences.